for Canada, one for Mexico.
Yes, sir.
They've been in the news lately, haven't they? And I spoke to the president of Mexico, wonderful woman, today, and we helped them out with the problem they were having to do with the tariffs, short-term tariffs.
Now, President Trump signed an executive order rolling back previously imposed 25% tariff on goods from Canada and Mexico. This order provides 1 month exemption for products meeting the standard of the US-Mexico-Canada agreement, effective until 2nd April. The initial tariffs enacted in February 2025 were intended to pressure Canada and Mexico to enhance efforts against drug trafficking and illegal immigration.
One for Canada, one for Mexico.
Yes, sir.
They've been in the news lately, haven't they? And I spoke to the president of Mexico, wonderful woman, today, and we helped them out with the problem they were having to do with the tariffs, short-term tariffs. And we had a very good conversation. Also, we discussed drugs, and they were working much harder lately. Do you notice that? On people coming in and drugs, and we've made tremendous progress on both.
President Trump,
In a recent interaction with President Trump and reporters in the Oval Office, President Trump shared his thoughts on Ukraine's situation. He said he thinks Ukraine wants to make a deal because they don't have one yet, and that Russia also wants to make a deal, and he believes that Ukraine doesn't have any options left.
And when Zelensky inevitably comes back to the White House, what do you expect from him? And do you think you'll see him in a necktie?
Well, I think what's going to happen is Ukraine wants to make a deal because I don't think they have a choice. I also think that Russia wants to make a deal because in a different way that only I know, they have no choice either.
Now, to my point of view, I think it will be a great news if President Zelensky returned to the White House to sign a deal with President Trump. Such an agreement could be the key to ending the war, allowing Ukraine to rebuild its country and giving the people of Ukraine the chance to return home and restore their lives. This could truly be a turning point of peace.
Yeah, Peter?
The clocks are going to spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings time?
Okay, are you ready? So, this should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue.
President Trump in the Oval Office, he was asked about the possibility of ending daylight savings time. Trump explained that it is a 50-50 issue, meaning that opinions are split on whether it should be eliminated. He mentioned that some people would prefer having more daylight later in the day, while others want it earlier, particularly for safety when taking kids to school in the dark.
Yeah, Peter?
The clocks are going to spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings time?
Okay, are you ready? So, this should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue. And if something's a 50-50 issue, it's hard to get excited about it. I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way. It's very even. And usually I find when that's the case,
Mayor Adams, what you said today has given me no confidence in your ability to continue to serve and lead our city.
Now, during a House hearing panel with Century City mayors, Mayor Eric Adams got into a heated exchange with Representative Gellin in response to her criticisms. Adams fired back, saying, "You don't live in New York City, you live on Long Island."
Mayor Adams, what you said today has given me no confidence in your ability to continue to serve and lead our city.
but you don't live in
You
New
have
York City.
proven
You live on
that
Long
you're
Island.
unfit
You don't vote
to
for
be
me.
mayor, and you should resign. And I said that before you made your deal with Donald Trump.
Thank God you don't live in New York City. You live on Long Island.
But
People
the
of
problems
city,
New York City
people of
affect my
city elect,
constituents
people
who
of
work
New York
in Long
City
Island, who
elected.
work in Manhattan, whose kids live in Manhattan, who go to the doctor in Manhattan. Everything that happens in Manhattan affects my constituents, Mayor.
frankly, what Nicole Wallace said, I've never been a fan of hers, and she's not very talented. But I'll tell you, what she said the other day about that young man is disgraceful. She should be forced to resign.
President Trump in the Oval Office strongly criticized Rahel Maddow and Nico Wallace, saying they should be forced to resign over their comments about DJ Daniel. Trump expressed that the remarks made by Wallace was disgraceful and that he has never been a fan of her, calling her not very talented. He added that what both Wallace and Maddow said about the situation was embarrassing, particularly as it relates to a young person who was suffering. Trump also claimed that both women had lost credibility and that very few people watched them anymore. He emphasized that their behavior was a disgrace and that they should step down as a result.
Yeah, the answer is I thought it was very embarrassing for the Democrats what happened the other night. And that's not said for any other reason other than it's obvious, it's fact. Even CNN fake news said that. They came out and they said it. And worse than CNN is MSDNC, which is the worst. And the good news is very few people watch them anymore. They have lost such credibility. And frankly, what Nicole Wallace said, I've never been a fan of hers, and she's not very talented. But I'll tell you, what she said the other day about that young man is disgraceful. She should be forced to resign. And Rachel Maddow should be forced to resign. Nobody watches her anyway. I don't know if it's not possible they pay her as much money as I hear, but certainly she's lost all credibility, both of them. But what they said the other day, they should be forced to resign about that young person who is suffering greatly. Thank you, Nick.
Starting today, all U.S.-based companies will be banned from taking part in government procurement. Every year, the province and its agencies spend about $30 billion on procurement.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford has announced significant revenge measures against the United States in response to President Trump's recent tariff on Canadian imports. Effective immediately, all US-based companies are banned from participating in Ontario government procurement processes, impacting approximately $30 billion in annual spending. Ford stated that these companies have President Trump to blame for their lost opportunities.
Starting today, all U.S.-based companies will be banned from taking part in government procurement. Every year, the province and its agencies spend about $30 billion on procurement, alongside our more than $200 billion plan to build infrastructure. U.S.-based businesses will now lose out on tens of billions of dollars in revenues. They only have President Trump to blame.
Additionally, Ontario has terminated its $68 million contract with Elon Musk Starlink, which was intended to provide high-speed internet to remote areas as part of the province's broader strategy to counteract U.S. economic actions.
We're ripping up Ontario's contract with Starlink. It's done, it's gone. We won't award contracts to people who enable and encourage economic attacks on our province and our country.
These measures are a direct response to the U.S. government's decision to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian imports and a 10% tariff on Canadian energy resources. God bless you for watching the entire video, and don't forget to share your thoughts. Leave your comments below. I would love to read them and hope to see you in the next video.